What do you want? What do
Start
you
with
want to
something
do
spooky.
first? Ooh, the Phantom of the Opera.
Indeed.
I was not that familiar with Phantom of the Opera. I
Just as a story in general.
I think I knew the broad strokes, but I've
Mm-hmm.
never seen or read any kind of version of it
Right.
specifically, except for Phantom of the Paradise, which is a
Oh,
great movie. Great
I need
movie.
to see Phantom of Paradise.
Oh, it's so good.
It's true. I think this is the first time I've like, yeah, I'd never watched the musical. I'd never read the book. I'd never seen
You
any of
know,
the movies. So this was the first time I like properly had seen any Phantom of the Opera thing.
you being in New York City, you only have a little bit of time left to watch the
I
musical.
don't think I'm going to. Full disclosure, I don't think I'm going to go.
So this was starring Lon Chaney, who we previously saw in He Who Gets Slapped.
Indeed.
Um, and uh,
Probably his
one,
most famous movie, I would
I
argue.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, this is another one where he's doing his crazy makeup, crazy
Mm-hmm.
uh monster quote unquote makeup.
Yeah.
Um, and we watched the more prevalent version of this movie is a like 1929
Mm-hmm.
re-release of it, which is it like loses about half an hour out of the runtime. Um, but we watched the original
Yeah.
blurry 1925
Right.
16 millimeter version.
Well, because I think the 1929 one, I haven't seen it, but I think they reshot a lot of it, and so that's why it's better quality. Is because it's from a 35 millimeter print.
Hmm.
Because they reshot it for sound.
I mean, certainly this would have been shot on 35 millimeter, right? It's just
Yeah.
the only
Yeah.
16 millimeter elements exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
Hmm.
exactly. I think 16 millimeter had only just been like invented as a film stock at this point. So
I think a lot of people know the Phantom of the Opera story, but I don't know how much detail we need to go into, but on the other hand, I had never, you know, I wasn't that familiar, I guess.
I I was kind of surprised at how I feel like I had this like vague idea in my head of like I guess that's what kind of what Phantom of the Opera is, and then the movie was like exactly that. Um, like I feel like in my head I was like I don't know, there's like an opera ghost or something, and then right off the bat, like in the intertitles, they're like we have an opera ghost.
Right, yeah, it's everybody's a little here's all of these rumors of a phantom that's haunting the opera house. Uh they they have their changing rooms and all of that stuff are like deep inside of the catacombs of the opera house, which it's an opera house with catacombs.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Paris got a lot of catacombs.
I thought
Um,
something notable was also before we get fully started that it says filmed entirely in Universal City, California. Um,
yeah.
so it's a Universal is a real deal enough that they've got their own city now.
Well, also, I was reading about the set for this movie that they built of the Paris Opera House, like the main sort of opera house set, was left standing until like 2014 or something like that.
Jeez.
Like it was just a standing set on the Universal lot for decades, um, which is pretty wild. And it was only fairly recently like uh, dismantled. I think it's like it still exists in pieces somewhere. But yeah, they went hard on the sets in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. I can see why they were proud of the fact that it was all filmed in California, like
Mm-hmm.
on set. Because these some of these exterior shots have the lavishness of an Eric von Stroheim outdoor set.
Yeah, I don't know if they went quite as hard as that, um, in terms of like needlessly giant sets.
Needlessly wasteful sets.
I did notice how there's towards the end, there's like a chase scene and they run past Notre Dame cathedral, and it's the same set from Hunchback of Notre Dame, the earlier Lon Chaney movie, because they built a set for that also. So it's like, hey, we still got this one. This is also set in Paris. We got to get more use out of this.
it this also had me thinking about a little bit how movies of the silent era could be kind of casually more international than it was able to be for sound films, because you didn't have to get over this, thing of people speaking a different language. So it, yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen this before, but I think that it's rare for American movies these days to be set entirely and starring entirely characters that are from another country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people will do Phantom of the Opera adaptations, but when you can just have them speak in English in the intertitles, it helps a lot.
I think now they do the thing that everyone does in American films, where something is set entirely in France, and every character is French, and they all talk like this, don't they? They're all English.
It's just foreign enough to trick our American
I know.
ears.
It's just like the Europe, I guess. Whatever. Should we talk about the plot?
Yeah, give me a little plot.
So yeah, Lon Chaney plays the titular Phantom of the opera house. The movie opens with the opera house being sold, and the previous owners, after the sale goes through, like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a ghost. You're gonna get ghosts. And yeah, we've seen all these kind of rumors and people around the opera house talking about the Phantom. Turns out the Phantom is a guy who just kind of lives in the bowels of the opera house and has kind of a crush on one of the opera understudies named Christine, and threatens chaos and mayhem if she doesn't sing in the opera.
Yeah, he's always kind of sticking his hand out of... He's so familiar with all of the catacombs and nooks and crannies of this opera house that he can kind of traverse in the in between the walls and stick his hand out of mysterious places and place notes on people's desk to say, make my girlfriend the main singer, or I'll do something bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of secret doors and stuff going on, which I wonder if is just a real thing in Paris opera houses.
It made me think of Fantomas a lot.
Yeah.
And how it's just lots of trap doors and hidden chambers to imprison and torture people in, and all this kind of thing.
Yeah, you love to see it. And yeah, all of the sets in this are really cool. The people who run the opera house kind of call the Phantom's bluff, and so then the Phantom drops a chandelier on the audience.
The only reason I know about the whole chandelier thing is because I've seen the Phantom of the Opera episode of Comedy Bang Bang, where Paul F. Tompkins as Andrew Lloyd Webber is talking about their chandelier budget for their for their production of the Phantom of the Bang Bang set.
You knew there was going to be a lot of chandelier stuff in this movie,
or at least an expensive prop.
An
expensive prop chandelier being ruined at every show.
So the Phantom kind of kidnaps Christine out of her dressing room, and takes her into the bowels, or into the catacombs, to his man cave beneath the opera house. And it is he sleeps in a coffin. He's kind of
he's a real character. He says when he sleeps in the coffin that it keeps him mindful of that other dreamless sleep that lasts forever.
Yeah.
Very very, very dark and brooding and mysterious and handsome. Except
I feel like
he's got a mask on the whole time.
Yeah, he's wearing this mask and he's like, "Hey, Christine, big fan.
Don't touch the mask.
Come live in my man cave. The one thing you don't do is don't touch my mask." And so then, he's playing his organ. And she's like, oh, I really want to take that mask off. She's just itching
She
to take that mask off.
she looks kind of like she's playing a big old prank on him,
Yeah. She's
like,
sort of
this is
very,
fun.
very playfully sort of like, and then probably the most like famous shot in this whole movie is then she reaches sort of over his head and takes his mask off, and we reveal the horrifying visage of the Phantom, of Eric the Phantom. I do like how his name is just Eric.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's in the original story.
Mhm.
It's got a K at least. That's a little.
True.
It's a little.
Jazzing it
foreign
up a
and
little
interesting.
bit. Yeah.
Speaking of that K, and this is like really nitty gritty, but I think this and another movie in the title cards, all of the K's had descenders on them,
Mm.
which I thought is a strange way of writing K's.
Were they like
But they had
the
these,
long, sort of leg at the bottom?
yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is some real font stuff, but like in the way that you would have a J, for example, dip below the line
Mm-hmm.
when you are writing.
Yeah.
You don't typically do that with a K, and maybe it was a common fashion of the time to write K's with the bottom part extending below the baseline of the font zone.
Yeah. Funny you should bring that up, because this week I actually, having watched a couple of these movies with very similar sort of intertitle fonts, I found a font online that is like the typeface of these intertitles with the weird K's.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I thought about maybe trying to like switch the font in the video for that, but I think the font in there is too classy. It's like it's gotta stay.
The font that we have for our logo and whatnot.
I tried like switching it out to see like how it would look, but it's like, it's too much.
It's a very. I think it's like one of those like default Adobe Premiere.
I know,
fonts
but it's
or whatever.
it's perfect. But yeah, I want to like, I don't know what use I will have for this font, but I'm looking at. I have my notes written in it right now, so.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We're getting in the font zone lately.
This is probably a good place to talk about the thing this movie is best known for, kind of, which is Lon Chaney's performance and makeup.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that, for the first half hour of this movie, you don't even see Lon Chaney.
Mhm.
He is appearing in shadow.
A lot of good shadow work.
For sure, especially in the background of intertitles, which is really neat. Where he's kind of swimming around, looking ominous in the background, but with the text in front of him, it feels very dynamic to have like an intertitle with the motion behind it that this movie has at some points. But Christine initially thinks that he is like this benefactor spirit who is helping her out which in a way he is, in her opera career and helping her with music. And then yes, when she sees his creepy mask, which I don't know who was involved in the creepy mask, but it prepares you for the even creepier face.
Yeah, you'd think you'd maybe pick a less creepy mask to kind of throw off the fact that his face is all skull looking. I was very like, I'd seen images from this movies and clips and things, so like I knew what the makeup looked like, but I was still kind of taken aback just by like how well it holds up, and how it's just like he doesn't look like a real person. Like he's like changes his whole, like the shape of his entire head.
Yeah, definitely. After we've seen in He Who Gets Slapped, of Lon Chaney without, heavy makeup on.
Right, he's still doing
what his
clown
face
makeup.
looks like.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of that movie, you see him in normal garb, and so we know what he looks like, and it really draws a big contrast between the hours and hours of makeup that he surely did to put on the Phantom face.
Yeah.
which I understand why they had a lot of shots of him with the mask back on again, because I'm sure that slowed things
Yeah.
down a little bit for him to have to redo the makeup every time.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's legitimately quite scary looking. Like,
Yeah,
especially when it's like he's just kind of leering right into the lens. It's like, damn, this is intense.
yeah. In addition to this like really heavy and spooky makeup, there are a lot of really dramatic shadows that are being cast on his face the whole
Yeah,
time.
it's very
His
underlit.
face, yeah, his face is very angular, so it captures those shadows really well.
Yeah, I was reading about sort of like the process he had to go through to like get into the full makeup, and it was apparently very painful and uncomfortable because like he was like the fake scalp, the fake teeth, and he like stuffed stuff in his cheeks to kind of make his cheekbones bigger, and then to sort of get his nose to look the way it does, this sort of like flat, weird like skull nose. He put wire in his nostrils to like flatten them back against his nose, I guess.
Wow.
Which like after I guess a couple of hours they would start bleeding, and so it was like he really committed hard to the makeup in this movie, but it paid off.
What a guy,
Yeah.
Lon Chaney.
And that's like every Lon Chaney movie where he does makeup. It seems like that's sort of the story behind it. Is like he goes way too hard on it, and it looks incredible, but it was like incredibly uncomfortable or painful for him to do.
He's dedicated, even when he is doing Yellowface a couple days, a couple weeks, months later. God, what? A couple years later. I don't know what what this podcast is called. Speaking of like some of the shadows involved, there's a lot of really great shadow stuff in this movie. We talked about the sort of underlit catacombs sequences, but also there's a really cool shot as some of the Phantom's murders are being revealed, where there's like a stagehand who's kind of turning this big wheel to kind of raise up a door or a curtain. You can't exactly tell what it is. And so you're seeing the curtain, the silhouette of the curtain or the shadow of the curtain raising in the same shot behind him. So all of this kind of drama is unfolding behind the camera, and as the shadow of the curtain raises, it reveals the shadow of a hanging corpse. Which is so good.
Yeah. I think I might have like paused the movie just to like admire that shot. I was just like, so good.
Yeah, really well composed, really good reveal for sure.
Yeah. Maybe one of the better uses of shadows I feel like I've seen in anything, honestly. It was great. There's a really great shot. So right after Christine sees his spooky face, he lets her go, kind of, and is a big jerk about it. And then we get this section of the movie that's shot in 2-strip Technicolor, which is pretty cool. And the Phantom is like at a ball at the Opera House wearing this big red cloak. And there's a great bit where he's like Christine is up on the roof and the Phantom is like spying on her. And the Phantom is like hanging off of a gargoyle wearing this big red cloak that's like billowing in the wind. Incredible shot.
Oh man, what? The version that I watched did not have the color in that scene. Yeah, I thought that the only, at least on the Blu-ray, the only version that has the color in that scene, I think, is the 1929 version.
Oh, weird.
Maybe you found some kind of composite of some other prints or something, but mine was like just a scan of a 16 millimeter, like tinted and toned version.
Yeah, I mean that's how most of the movie is. But yeah, there's that one section that's, I mean it's 2-strip for like the inside part, and then when he's up on the roof, it looks like it's like hand painted color. It has
Oh, I
that
see.
sort of sloppier looking, uh, you know, coming coming out off the lines a little bit. Um, but
This isn't some pate color accuracy.
no, yeah, um, yeah. I'm surprised that that's not in, because I think whatever version of it I watched was maybe a different Blu-ray release of it. I don't know. That's a
Hmm.
whole rabbit hole to go down.
A lot of traps
Yeah.
and chambers that the Phantom has built or has like re uh I don't know, reclaimed in his discovery of old torture chambers that exist
This is a
below
reclaimed
Paris.
torture chamber.
$400 a night on Airbnb. One of them is the Room of Many Mirrors, a torture chamber, like an old torture chamber. Christine's boyfriend and an undercover cop who has been investigating the Phantom for months. They finally are trying to catch him, and they end up falling into the Room of Many Mirrors, which is quite a title. In the book, I think this scene is not described, or this room is not described that way, because I thought, it was this very capitalized like room of many mirrors,
Mm.
a well-known thing. But in the book, it's like, uh, this is a room that's similar to those funhouse mirror rooms where you can't see where you're going. The Phantom actually invented those, but you don't know that. uh, so the Phantom has his own twist on the mirror maze, which is that he can crank up the heat in there so much that it almost kills people.
Yeah, and
And
there's a really cool like camera effect to show that. I think it's like just double exposure of flames, but it's like it kind of adds this weird kind of shimmer because of the double exposure to things.
mm,
Which was really I don't know, it was subtle, and it but it gave a real kind of like visual indication of just the heat in this room being cranked way up.
and of course the good guys end up escaping, and they escape into another uh, trap, uh,
Hmm.
that where he's flooding the room, and they're having to the classic kind of scene of them kind of swimming to the
Oh
top
yeah,
and then getting their last amount of air that they can.
yeah.
But yeah, eventually the some kind of a disgruntled mob is able to find the Phantom, and they've got the classic torches and
Yeah.
all that kind of thing, and they are there to avenge one of the kind of random stage hands that
Hmm.
the Phantom has killed, as a measure of his threats. Uh, which it's cool to see. Kind of I feel like these movies or stories like this, they have sometimes a lot of collateral damage, in many stories you're kind of trained to only care about the principal characters,
Hmm.
but in this movie it's like there is this character that is barely named and was just a random person that the Phantom killed, and his brother is the one who ends up rallying
Hmm.
the mob
Yeah.
to end the Phantom. And they chase him down, as you were talking about. They chase him down the streets of Paris. That's a really cool scene. It feels
Hmm.
really like dynamic and quick of this chase scene, and they they surround him and they beat him up, and
Throw him in a
uh,
river or a canal.
yeah, raising the possibility for a sequel.
Uh,
Did he survive in the water?
which I don't think is in the book, right? Doesn't the book have a different ending?
I don't know.
Oh, well, guess we'll find
I
out.
just the only thing I know about the book is that I control F for Room of Many Mirrors, and then read a passage from there.
Cutting out about this mirror room. Pretty cool movie. Not like
Yeah.
didn't blow me away, but I was like definitely as like a Lon Chaney vehicle, I guess.
Hmm.
I see why this is like the thing he's probably the most well remembered for.
Yeah, I think honestly, I had like of the overall quality, how much it grabbed me and everything
Hmm.
like that. I feel like I was finding myself thinking the same thing when I was watching this. Is like we're now, I think we're now in the era where, uh, you know, it's not just some good movies and ones that are just incompetent. Like there
Hmm.
are well-made movies. You're just like, yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah. Well
It's
done.
not mind blowing. You don't have to talk about it forever, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Watch it if you like.
Yeah.
You know.
Cool movie.